Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. The Big A, Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling, on a gorgeous day here at Belmont Park. A lot of stuff going on. 10-race card today, including the stake, the feature, the Carl Place. Where's Carl Place?
Carl Place is headed out towards Westbury.
Okay, there you go. You need to head to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, no better time than the present to become a member of Naira Bets. Use the promo code CUP25. You get a $25 free play for the Breeders' Cup as well as the match, the $200 deposit bonus. Play through Naira Bets. Support racing in New York. What else do we have? We have a $20 bonus. You bet 100 or more at Santa Anita as long as you opt in. $20 bonus today. Not only get to bet Santa Anita, you get to hear Frank Miramati call. Got a Cox Plate Day bonus.
I could
Cox
be getting
Plate
involved in
tonight.
this.
If you bet $100 on the Cox Plate card, you'll get $10 back. Opt in for that. That's also Naira Bets. That's run. Is that after midnight tonight?
I don't know what time it is, but it is definitely in the
I think the winner of the
late
Saratoga
evening.
Derby will be finishing up the track in that race.
Wow.
Actually, yeah. What else do we have? Oh, we got the contest. You got till 5 o'clock today, Anthony. $300 buy-in. Love
I'm
these
not
live
allowed
money
to play,
contest.
Andy. Neither are you.
Well, I know, but doesn't mean we can't tell people they can play.
That's true.
You got to sign up by 5 o'clock today and 12:30 to 5:30. FS2 all day, covering all the action.
As the kids would
races
say,
today.
Andy, facts.
So race number one got very boring when the scratches came out because it was essentially, there were sort of two options. I opted for the 5 Someday Maybe. You opted for School of Thought when Someday Maybe, the drop down, decided not to play. School of Thought, who's never really done much running, becomes the horse to beat because what you're dealing with is Malibu Action, who's had a million chances and was very disappointing here the other day. A first-time star that worked 10 flat a year and a half ago, going a mile first time out in a $20,000 claiming race. And I guess Black Licorice first time in the dirt, or Balinese first time in the dirt. I opted for School of Thought after the scratch, as did you. You had the horse on top originally. I got nowhere else to go.
Well,
I
I
got
know.
the first or second because I don't want the horses. You know, I'd probably, I guess, Black Licorice. There is some dirt pedigree in there, but, geez, I don't know. They've been running this horse.
Is there
in the
anything
turf.
else to
There's
really?
no
I mean,
running.
I don't even know what else to say here.
No, there's
Right, you got
just
a couple of turf horses, a professional maiden in Malibu Action, Malibu Anthem. I keep wanting to call it Malibu Action. It's Anthem. And then you have School of Thought, who dropped from the special weight ranks to the 50 last time and showed enough of a pulse where, I don't know, dropping to the 20 should get the job done.
she's the horse to beat. Whether she should get the job done, she'll be a strong favorite near Balinese, a half to Uncle Benny, who was a nice turf horse a few years ago, won the Futurity here.
But he was like you said, he was turf, right?
I don't
And
see
this horse
any
hasn't run
real
much.
pedigree suggesting dirt. Black Licorice probably has the most, but it's all a guessing game, and at this point, it's pretty likely that School of Thought, unless the first are Untamed Lady. The workout was very good, the 10 flat
But
workout.
then they only paid 50, and now the horse a year and a half later is running for 20,000.
I'll try to finish. Okay, there's no pedigree whatsoever, which is why they paid $50,000, but the horse did work 10 flat. But it's just coming in a long time later. It's odd to see Cheeto. You don't see him as a sire too often, and he was a horse that probably wanted less distance, not more, but is going a mile first time out. Race number 2. Horse to beat in race number 2 is at Henry. Going out for Michelle Nevin, dropping down. Show you a stat for Michelle Nevin. She does not have particularly strong stats going maiden special weight to maiden claim on the turf. Now, 14 of them hit the board. About 7 of the horses were short prices. There were some big prices in there. But as a winning trainer, but at Henry, it may just be better than these horses. The question is, which of the weird fuzzies did you want to go to? You've gone to a horse I know David Aragona likes as well, the 7 Rogue Leader.
Yeah, this was second time Tom Morley, whose barn is having a fantastic fall championship meet here at beautiful Belmont Park. Had the race going 6 last time. He's going to stretch back out to 7. You know, this is a horse that took money in his 2 turf races earlier in his career and then kind of got ignored last time, and I thought outran his odds a little bit. See what happens. At Henry makes a lot of sense. Let's
Let's finish up Rogue Leader.
I really don't have anything else.
Okay, I looked at Rogue Leader's race last night again because David had some things to say about it. I don't agree with him. I thought he was third by default. Now listen, he ran a 55 buyer last time, and the reality is, it's not, if you're trying to beat at Henry, he's in range to get it done, and I'm certainly not going to turn my nose at it. As you say, Tom's horses have been running very well. I didn't see it, but I think there are options in here. As far as at Henry, you were going to say?
You know, he was a horse who was forward going long. Obviously, they kind of outpace him going shorter. I would not be surprised if, Kendrick, I don't want to say he fought him last time.
Well, he did. He throttled him back.
But
He
yeah,
definitely
but
did.
it looked like the horse wanted to run on, and I would imagine he'll use his speed a little bit more today and
Well,
be
he'll
forward.
probably be in the first 4 or 5
Yeah, he
horses.
makes a lot of sense. I mean, he
He's
makes
the
a
horse
lot of
to beat.
sense on the drop. Yeah,
He's the horse to beat.
despite
We can
that
keep
stat.
talking about it. He's the horse to beat in here. There are some other horses to talk about. I'm going to take a shot with the 5 horse in here, Chase the Cat, who just got an absolutely ridiculous trip last time out. Was forced out 5 or 6 wide in the first turn before settling in 4 wide, 3 to 4 wide in the second turn, and actually made a realistic move to lead in that race. Gets a little bit less distance, and I think the last race is better than it looks. And this feels like a horse that may or may not be the 20-1 morning line, but this horse did have a very, very big trip last time out. And in this field, I'm willing to take a shot with this horse going forward, because horses like War Novel are going to take money. I don't really see what's so special about War Novel. This horse had a very good trip in the 1 turf race, and with all due respect to the Notas, they're not Brad Cox. So I don't think that horse is going to take some money in here is particularly compelling. I don't know what to do with Hot Doctor. And I wanted to show Hot Doctor's last race because he's interesting. He comes back in just 3 weeks since that race because he ranges up. He's 3 wide right now in the reddish colors, and something must have gone wrong here because watch Jose Ortiz riding this horse. He's got the horse under, sort of a hammerlock here, and he never really asked the horse to run particularly. He just kind of eases the horse back. Now, obviously, Jose must have felt there was some reason that he was not confident riding this horse, yet the horse is back in 3 weeks with a different rider. I don't know what to say. The horse was favored last time. The horse has had his share of trips, and he's got races that can win, but I'm a little concerned based on the fact he was eased in the stretch last time.
Kind of looked like he threw his head up in the air a little bit when they came off the turn, so I don't know if Jose maybe felt something. I don't know, but like you said, it's only 3 weeks. Horse is back. Yes, it's a different rider, but I think if you're playing multis, he's a horse that you almost have to use. He was favored against a similar bunch last time. We don't know what happened. He's back quick.
Well, he's not
quick
in a similar
enough.
bunch because At Henry was not in that field, and he is way the horse.
Right,
to
but
beat.
if you take out Henry out of this field, right, and At Henry's dropping, so obviously.
Yeah, no, I agree, but At Henry is in the field.
At Henry's in the field. I get that.
What about Tough Workout getting a little bit less distance, a horse that can be forward
Yeah.
with Luis Saez? I thought that he was a reasonable horse in this race, not impossible. Thought he had a chance as well. And
It's an
he's a horse
interesting
that
race.
could be forward in a race that
Yeah.
doesn't seem to have a ton of speed. He and War Novel are the horses that could be the most forward in here. I think there's a lot of stuff going on. At Henry's the one to beat. I'm going to try to beat him with the 5, Chase the Cat. You are going to try Rogue Leader. Race number 3. I don't think there's any realistic argument. The Single Soul, we'll take a look at the head bob last time is the horse to beat. She's just a very logical horse in this race.
Yeah, just like everything you said, took a tough bob. 2 starts back, was on the front end, and obviously I think this filly's a little bit better when
Well,
she's
something
allowed
went
to
wrong
settle
2
and make
starts
one
back.
run.
Obviously,
Yeah.
she was vanned off after that race, so I don't think it was being on the front end. Obviously, something went wrong.
She's another one, Andy, coming back in 3 weeks. Coming back in 3 weeks, so.
Why is that a problem?
No, it's not a problem. It's just I thought it was a little interesting. Coming back in 3 weeks, looking to put this condition away and go after bigger game. I don't know.
Well, what are you going to wait for? You're going to wait for in late October? You're going to wait for the perfect spot?
No.
Mid-November?
I think it's curious.
Well, I don't think it's curious at all. I mean, it's a race that came up that she's eligible for at the perfect distance for her in late October when turf season will be over in about 6
She's
weeks.
also
What is Graham Motion supposed to do
I
with
think
her?
it's interesting because she's also a filly that had 7 weeks and 8 weeks between her
Well, hang on.
between her other
she had
starts.
8 weeks. She was vanned off, so obviously something went wrong.
Right, but
you have to. I
but
think
she had the 7 weeks
Well, okay,
too, off of the 6.5 month layoff.
Here's the problem. The problem is unless
I think it's a good thing that she's back quick.
okay, unless you know what races came up for that she didn't run in. They're in the condition book. It's not easy to find races for these horses. The turf season is over at. Is it? Where's
Delaware's over.
done.
Yeah.
I don't know how much Laurel has. There aren't that many options. The purses are strong. Graham's going to run her when the race comes up.
And she ran into this. She ran a mile and a quarter, a mile and 3/8. So those races really don't come up that often.
Right, I think we're
get
making
the
an
whole
issue of
thing.
something that's not. It's just.
Well, no, I think
horse racing.
I think it's a positive sign that she's coming back in 3 weeks.
Well,
I think it's a positive sign.
I don't know why we're even discussing it. She's
You
also
don't, hold on a second.
She's
Hold
also
on a second.
even money in
Hold
the
on,
morning
hold on,
line.
hold on a second. Hold on a second. You don't know why we're discussing a horse that's going to be even money, who had a 6.5-month layoff, followed by a 7-week gap.
No,
a Van off and an 8-week gap.
I honestly think
that's coming back in 3 weeks.
I think this is a conversation that you're welcome to have with yourself that I'm not interested in. But that's
if you
fine.
don't think that's an important conversation to have,
You're right, I don't.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, I don't.
Okay.
I think it's making an issue out of something that's not an issue.
Okay.
That's fine. You disagree. I don't see who else can really beat her realistically in this race unless it's Flauto on the front end. And we'll take a look at Flauto's last race in the turf, winning down at Churchill. She'll have to improve to beat Single Soul, who's better. But she is a private purchase since that race by 3 diamonds, and she switches to Mike Maker. I consider this a significant trainer upgrade
Gigantic.
on a horse that isn't that far off and be able to win and is the controlling speed. So I think that I prefer Flauto in this race.
That's the part. The second part of it, the first part of it, I should say, is more. She's not that far from Single Soul, and she is going to, you would think, have a tactical advantage. Now, I don't. She's flat out faster than the one second row center. Again, let's see intent. Let's see how aggressive Kendrick is from the iron. But I would imagine that Luis Saez is just going to put Flauto on the front end here. Well,
she
and
won
let
without the
chips
lead.
fall.
She did
No,
great.
I know she did. But she's faster than the one. She's supposed to be
I'm
in
aware
front
she
of you,
is.
right?
Yeah. I don't like Maiden Italy at all in this race. I've got her third by default. I just think she's dressed up by circumstance. Last time out, somebody had to finish fourth in a slow-paced race going a mile an hour. She didn't know running, and I didn't know if Linda Scritt was quite good enough in here. Race number 4. I thought one of the questions in race number 4 was what you do with Mexican Wonder Boy for Danny Gargan off a significant layoff. And we'll take a look at this horse winning. I mean, what do you do with this horse? Danny, for what it's worth, has very good numbers in significant layoffs. 180 days on the dirt. Route 6 for 14. He's 11-24. But his claiming horses in claiming races are not as good. It's allowance. It's upper echelon horses that seem to do better in that stat. I wasn't a speed track last time. This horse didn't get carried by Gulfstream. That's really the only number that makes the horse very competitive here. I just don't know what to do with this horse. I've decided to take a negative and put the horse fourth. You have the horse second.
I put the horse second. The race last time, I thought the horse's first race in the States, both made him kind of competitive here. And it's, Danny's horses have been running well.
Yeah, well, see, that's, I think, a different discussion. Danny's horses have been running fine, but when this horse won at Gulfstream,
he was on fire.
He was on fire.
Yeah.
His horses were running, he was winning at like 40 or higher percent. So I think that is a consideration. He's winning. He's a winning trainer. But I think that he was on a much, much bigger rush when this horse won down at Gulfstream. And I think that's kind of reasonable. You Live Your Beast Life.
I had a tough time with this race.
It's a tough race. I agree.
Yeah, I didn't think I thought the 2 bottom horses, while I guess you can make cases for them, I thought they were a little bit of a stretch.
I wasn't a fan either.
Yeah, I thought the other 5 could win. I thought the other 5 could win this race.
Wildly against anybody in here,
right? But I thought the other 5 had
you Live Your
legitimate
Beast
chances.
Life.
Yeah, and I kind of just went to a horse who has some back races that puts him in the winner's circle,
right.
And he's going to be. His form is so dirtied up.
It
and
is.
His figs are so.
How is it dirtied up?
Andy, he's gotten beaten.
It's not
80
dirty.
lengths.
No, but dirtied up is insinuation that he's run better races than it appears on paper. Which one of the races did he run better?
No, he has been awful since the Preakness.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not dirtied up.
You're right. I used the wrong term. His form has been atrocious. He woke up a little bit last time. I don't know if you're
now
going to
I'm going to ask you the question that you bring up a lot since you brought it up today. Where's he been for 3 months?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, obviously this is a horse that does have some issues, but in a race where I don't necessarily.
So you don't worry that this one.
I do worry, but here's I'm going to worry. I almost gave you. Here's the thing. I'm going to worry at. I mean, he's
6 to 1 more line. He's not going to be a huge price.
What do you think he's going to be?
We did run second to
Free
Free Enterprise.
Shots on the board at 6 to 1.
Okay,
he's going to be 7, 8 to 1.
It's fine if you like him.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking a pick.
I'll put it to you like this.
worry about horses that miss time, but this one you're not worried about.
I don't love him. I don't love him.
We get that.
But it's more that he'll be at big enough price to take a swing in a race where I just don't trust these horses.
Okay.
I don't trust him either. but he'll be the
But
biggest
the
price
layoff
of them.
doesn't concern you.
The layoff always concerns me.
Okay, but you picked him.
Okay.
Because
Hold
you are
on,
Mr.
hold on,
Layoff. You
hold
are
on,
the guy that
hold on.
obsesses over layoffs.
Hold on a second. I'm not picking Flat Out Beautiful. I'm not picking Villainous
We'll
back
take a look
in
at
2.5
Villainous's
weeks.
last race.
Okay, let's look at that. Back
Villainous
in
ran
13
last
days.
time.
Sure he did. He sure did for one of the hottest barns on the ground.
So his case 13 days is bad.
I'm telling you, he's going from one of the hottest grounds on the barn off
Hottest
his
barns on the ground to a
off
barn that
his
wins
best-
off the claim.
Off his best race in 6 months.
He ran.
He did, but it's his
Maybe
best race in 6 months.
Cantermachi. Maybe the argument is that Cantermachi is riding this horse off of Tom's training.
I don't disagree
he says
with
the
that
guy's
either.
going good. The horse is in good
I
form.
don't
I want to
disagree
run
with
him
that
back
either.
right away.
Maybe he does. Maybe
I mean,
he is.
I'm just, there's counters to these
Yeah.
arguments. I don't know what to do with them either, and I agree. I'm not exactly sure what to do with them
I put
either.
him third. Is that what you did? Yeah. I put him third like you did.
Can win.
I didn't know
Okay,
what he could
I
do.
took Lost in Rome, who's dropping significantly. He's got races that can win this, and I think this is a race for Irad Ortiz to be aggressive. Just put this guy on the engine. When he's on the engine, and Irad rode him, last time Irad rode him, he put him on the engine, and he ran a huge race. Dropping, I'm not convinced he can run anymore, but just put him on the engine.
His biggest problem is going to be Ragtime Blues, who's faster than him.
Well, actually, he's not, but that's
He is.
It's close. I'll put it this way: it's very close between the two of them.
And
you know what? Put him on the engine. If Ragtime Blues goes, then beats him. So be it. But this is not a horse that I think you want to be rating.
I don't. Part of the look, I have him fourth. He can win. Part of the reason I don't like him as much is because I do think he's going to have to deal with Ragtime Blues.
We'll see. I don't disagree. Ragtime Blues has speed too. They both have speed. I think this horse needs an aggressive ride. He may not win. I'm not in love with him, but he too is supposed to be a reasonable enough price. I agree. It's a very, very complicated race. One of the reasons it's complicated is there's a case that can be made for pretty much everybody in here. I don't like Grump's Little Tots. David Aragona likes him. I don't get him at all, but David likes him. And Ragtime Blues ran a big figure. He's got to go long in here, but he's actually got a good figure going long. I don't like him either, but there's nothing in this race that is going to absolutely surprise me because I don't think there's anybody in this race that you actually really like that much.
I just said that.
Yeah, so I think it's one of those races. Race number 5. Man, I looked at race number 5. Let's take a look at the favorite here, Asymmetric. He did not. I don't know how badly he really broke. He broke about a half length slow, but then he's just a little bit sluggish after that. It's not that he's such a bad breaker, but he has a starter's belt. The winner ran off in here. I thought he ran fine. We can pick it up around there. I mean, this horse took him the far outside, and he made a legitimate run in this race to get up. And at the end of the day, I don't know. There's a Mike Stidham firster. There's a Charlie Baker firster that doesn't have Joel Rosario, who's often his go-to guy.
Yep.
You know, I didn't find anybody in here that was that compelling.
The favorite ran a race last time of a horse. And looks, I don't like to generalize, but certainly looked like
he looked pretty good. The winner.
The winner looked really good. I agree. And
it's a Todd Pletcher, heavily bet first-time starter.
And this horse looked like a horse that kind of got it together and is going to benefit tremendously from having a race under his belt.
I don't know.
He ran that way to me.
Last time. He ran. I think he just ran to a tougher horse.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why his last race can't win here, especially if he's a little bit more professional.
He beat the rest of them by almost 2 lengths. So.
I just don't know where else to go here. You know, I've got Astro Weeks second. Astro Weeks is half 2.
No.
Playwright. Michael Stidham, 2-year-old first-time starters in dirt sprints, 13 for 87, 15%, $1.03 ROI. I'm not betting on Kenner. Jamie Ness, who wins at a super high percentage out of town, and you can see the kind of year he's having.
Did you see that thing on Twitter the other day? The Parks trainer standings?
Yeah.
He's 90 in front of the next guy or something?
Once again, he has these great percentages out of times. Yeah, I mean, it's a joke.
Yeah.
He's 0 for 20 in New York over the last 5 years.
And that's
0 for
alarming.
20,
That's
with 5
alarming,
hitting the board.
That's alarming in 2 ways. When you consider where his horses are stable, the fact that only 20 horses have made the ship up here.
And it's a New York bred, and he's been running it at Parks.
Right.
So, I mean, I know the purses were big in those Parks races, but he
one
also
race in Saratoga and then the 2 races at Parks.
But so it's like he's I mean, devious banker. Frankly, you've got a trainer that's not going to get much attention. He ran well enough in his debut. I wouldn't dismiss him in here, especially if the firsters are dead. But I tried to make a case to bet against Asymmetric at a short price. Like you, I just couldn't make it.
Can't do it.
Race number 6 after a quick break.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling. Late pick 5 kicks off in race number 6. I think Clara Peters has finally found the field that she's going to beat. I believe me, I didn't want to pick her, and it's fine that you picked against her, but I didn't want to pick her in this race. But she's better with less distance, and the reality is that her third behind In a Hurry, who's not without a chance in tomorrow's stake, the Noble Damsel, Mr. Karras, improved her by her figure 1 point when she came back in that tough stake here the other day. It's just good enough to win this race. I don't love this horse. Believe me, I wanted to pick against her. I'm not trying to beat her in this race. I just think today is the day that she's going to win. I feel she's almost similar to that Love and Thunder horse a little bit, though that horse had tough trips. Maybe she's just found the right field.
Okay.
I mean, I just don't.
I couldn't do it.
That's fine. But you've picked a horse who I do have second, who's the controlling speed. But she's not very good.
No, she's not. I'm hoping. This is a play where I'm hoping dynamics and the fact that I just think Clara Peters is a horse that I'm always going to try to beat. And now with publication out of here, she's looking at prohibitive favoritism in this race. She's going to be...
For a reason.
She should be. Listen, off her figs and her races, she should be.
And publication's unfortunate scratch if you like her because she's really not very good.
Yeah.
It's fine. I get it. I got the 1 second. I scratched her for a second, but I'm not thrilled with her. I just don't know if she's good enough. I looked at her long and hard. And Princess Fauzia, the reason there's no fig in that race is there was a completely inaccurate time posted, but even the trackist time was a little hard to believe. The pace was fair in here. The problem with the win is, first of all, there were some better horses, but she got a great trip. And the third finisher, Messidor, should have won this race. She got very unlucky down in the inside. Other horses had less than special trips in here as well. And Princess Fauzia just got a perfect trip under Don Velasquez to win it.
We've said that a lot the last 2 days, by the way.
In all fairness, she's in good form, and Linda's bringing her back quickly, which is probably a good sign for Linda. So I don't want to dismiss her. I think she's the second likeliest winner here.
Won on October 3rd. Comes back on 11 days and wins again, and now she's back 8 days later. Listen,
I can't believe she wasn't claimed to back.
You got to strike me too.
How was this 4-year-old filly not claimed for $35,000?
For that price.
She must.
With the condition left.
She won a $90,000 allowance.
Yeah,
the next
with
start.
the allowance races left.
2 weeks later.
It was strange.
Whoever claimed her wouldn't have run her back there, so she wouldn't have won it.
Right.
Yeah, I wish I could have come up with something clever in this race. I just didn't think My Sweet Wife was good enough to win here.
Yeah, I took the speed.
I get betting against Clara Peters. I'm just not that guy today. Okay. Race number 7. You stole my horse in race number 7. You did steal my horse. You did.
How did I steal your horse?
Because this is the horse that I've liked and you didn't like last time. And
he's run twice.
But you just stole my horse. It's fine. It's fine, but you did steal my horse. Why do you like this horse?
Well, hold on a second.
Why do you like
my horse yesterday?
Why do you like which horse?
What do you think now?
I would never steal a horse from you.
What do you think now?
What do you like about this horse?
You stole what do you think
What do you like about this horse? You've got her on top.
The only thing you can talk about is the first race. You can't talk about the second race.
What did she do in her first race?
It is a she.
What did she do?
I thought she ran well in her first
race.
Really? Yeah.
I didn't.
Okay.
It was a slow race, and she did no running.
Certainly looked like a horse to me that won a distance, and Chad stretched her right out, Chad Brown. And
well, they liked her first time.
Whatever happened last time. Yeah, she didn't take any money first time, though.
Okay. They liked her.
And she didn't take a lot of that was the one thing that did bother me about her. The lack of tote support in both starts.
But you picked her.
Well, this was another race where I didn't really trust any of the firsters. I'll tell you what I didn't like. I think Handbell's race. And I put her second, but I thought long and hard about basically picking the same numbers you did. I don't love Handbell's race. And
Neither
I don't
do I.
really I'm sorry?
Neither do I.
Yeah. And I just, I didn't know enough about the firsts. I didn't have any steam in here. I'm often going to side with horses with experience going a mile and a 16th first time. Side with the experienced horses over the firsters going along on the dirt. So I went with
Well,
the two
I got Bill
runners.
Mott second because he's had good results with his filly 2-year-old firsters going long, going back to going back to his very good filly, but in some situation for Godolphin. So I thought this was interesting. Apparently, Make a Wish, who I put third and shouldn't have, was a big pedigree. Apparently, this horse has worked very slowly. Apparently, this horse's workouts have not been good. Whereas Too Sweet to Be Sour, who I left out, apparently has been working well for Jamie Begg. And people not familiar with Jamie Begg, he was the assistant to Mark Casse. And when Jamie was the assistant to Mark Casse, their horses were doing very well in New York. So I do believe the guy can train. He just obviously hasn't had that many starters, not many opportunities. But these are firsters trying to mile 16th. As far as Saffron Moon, for me, this is a horse that I was really wanted to give a second chance last time, too. Made a big bet on this horse. She dumped the rider at the start. Whether or not she would have beaten Nest, I don't know. It was a first-time star for Todd Pletcher, but I have to give her another chance. I lost enough on her the last time. I'm going to lose some more money on her. And as you say, first-time star is trying to go to mile and 16.
Yeah.
Not that easy. We'll see if Saffron Moon today. Hopefully she can at least keep her rider, so when she loses, I don't have to lose any more money on her. I tried to make a case for Into Happiness. Sheldon Evans does not have good numbers, stretching her maidens out. 2-year-olds in general, just not really good numbers. And the other thing is, this horse you're to tip on. Why didn't you pick her? You had a tip on her last time.
She was awful.
Okay, but you like to pick
Awful.
bad horses
The
back.
horse was awful.
I agree. She was
I thought about it.
dreadful.
This horse was awful.
It's 25-1 and ran like she was 25-1. No,
Thank you.
I agree.
What does she pay? What do you think she'll pay today? $18.80?
No, I just don't think she can run.
I don't either.
But she does have experience. Race number 8. Race number 8. What'd you do in race number 8? You picked the same horse as me, so go ahead.
Tuscan Queen. Yeah, a little class relief in here. I thought she ran really well. 2 starts. I think you could argue she was best 2 starts back. When she
Okay,
got
I don't
beat
think
the
there's a
length.
possible argument she was 2 bars back,
Okay.
considering the trip the third-place finisher had
Oh,
in
that's
there,
true.
considering
She-
how
she-
wide
she
the winner
could've-
was in
she
there.
could've
I don't
finished
think there's
second.
even any possible
She could
argument.
have finished second. I thought she got into the blind switch, and I thought it kind of cost her. Anyway, last time out, she was probably compromised the most by Bay Storm just being able to go out there and control on the front end. She didn't get any pace to run at, and I thought she ran
She
well
actually
enough.
did get pace to run it. They went 21.84, 44.47,
Bay
107.96.
Storm was just a loose on a lead.
It was a gold rail. And she was 3 wide against a gold rail. So, we saw yesterday with Valid Proposition, who was a horse that was wide against the gold rail opening week on the inner turf, how well he ran when he came back on a fair racetrack. And I think the biggest argument with Tuscan Queen, besides the fact she's obviously logically dropping, is she also was significantly against the track last time. I mean, I agree with you. I just think, if I trusted her, I would say she almost couldn't lose this race, but she is not going to be 7-2.
No.
And she shouldn't be 7-2.
Correct.
I think Harper's in charge will benefit from cutting back in distance. I hope in this situation that Joelle is aggressive, just tries to outrun them. Now, there is a horse in this race that might be the best horse in here. She's just a little tough to trust, and that's Abuse of Power. She got disqualified last time, and rightfully so, and got one of the worst rides I've ever seen. Robin Sparkles got left. It was a gold rail, and Eric Cancel rated her after Robin Sparkles got left. And not only did he rate her, he couldn't get her out far enough in the racetrack against the gold rail that Robin Sparkles was riding on, and then he interfered with fetching. I mean, this was one of the more special rides I've ever seen.
Yes.
And this horse should have won, and she should have beaten Robin Sparkles, who may have kind of lost her form lately. She's still pretty darn good, and she was especially good last year, and she was riding the gold rail. I don't know. She was a private. She was sold at auction after that race. They put her in one of the Keeneland sale or one of those sales. I know that. Listen, we've seen Philip Antonacci have some success with Fauci's run well for him from Wesley Ward.
Absolutely.
I mean,
That's
you got
what I
to
was
be
gonna
careful.
say.
I probably should have had this horse higher because the reality is, if this horse runs her last race, she's going to win this race.
She's going to win.
But it's a private purchase from the Chad Brown, and we haven't seen for a year.
She's been gone for a year.
Yeah.
And that was the one that put it,
But you're right to have her second. I was sort of remiss.
She has the chance to be. I put the horses 1-2 that I think have the most blue sky here. I think.
Well, the 6 is the horse to beat. She's going to be about 2-1, and she should be.
She should be.
But you have to be careful with this horse. You don't want to just say, well, it's a ridiculous. It's a trainer switch. This guy's horses have run okay for him, and
you
horse ran
mentioned,
huge
he's
last time.
taken horses.
I don't know why I
off
left
of
this horse
high-
out. Why did I leave
He's
this horse out?
taken horses off of high profile connections, and they've run well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think Harbor's in Charge would benefit from an aggressive ride in this race, take advantage of it, because she ran okay. I just think she couldn't get the 7 furlongs last time, and Love and Thunder's
Could
too
be.
good, and I think she's actually kind of okay in here. I wouldn't want to dismiss her either. I thought she would run okay. That's all I got.
Yeah, a little stolen holiday, but I don't really trust her that much.
Just,
Kind of seen
especially at
enough of her
6.
act. Yeah,
I
especially
wonder
at
if 6 is too much of a cutback.
It
for
could
her.
be.
That's
could
what
be.
worried me with her.
Could be.
But she's okay. Excellent feature, the Carl Place. You got a map? We should have a map for you to show us where Carl Place is.
So if you were to take Hempstead Turnpike east about 4 miles.
So it's before King Umberto's?
No, it's past King Umberto's.
Okay.
If you drove past King
This
Umberto's.
isn't everything measured by where it is. in
Yeah, well, that's what I
relation to
do.
King
Yes. Head north past Orchid, which is the other place I like to use, and then you get up to Old Country Road. You're in Carl
If
Place.
the guy at Keeneland is that much bigger than Scott Hazelton, can you imagine if I was sitting next
That's
to
the
him?
great Tom Leach.
I know. He's good.
Love Tom.
But right? I mean, Scott's a more normal sized person. Next to me, he's like, wow, he's big. Anyway.
Imagine having to feed me and Tom.
So this is an interesting race, and you and I disagree very strongly in this race.
I can't believe it.
Take a look at Smokin' Jay and Arzak coming out of the Allied Forces. I tell you what, Jose Ortiz has a tough job in front of him to give this horse as good a ride as Luis Saez gave him. He gave this horse a fantastic
Could
ride.
have been a ride
last
in a meet.
time.
This was an unbelievable ride.
Incredibly great ride. The thing about it is, got to go from 6 to 7, and it's a very different scenario. I do think this horse is okay, and I think it'll run all right, but I think it's a very, very different race today, and a sort of different group of horses.
Yeah, both. I agree. I could not agree with both more. The extra furlong. This is a horse that looks like he has, an eighth of a mile punch, and more often than not, when they do stretch, it kind of loses a little luster.
He is a horse that's...
And he's tough. These are tougher horses.
He is a horse that's well, potentially. He is a horse that has had tough trips. He had a tough trip in the My Frenchman. He was too big a price last time out. And he does have some talent. I just wonder at 7 furlongs. I wish I knew what to do with Crowded Trade down on the inside. He's a more than ready. It's not really a turf family, though. The Dam did run second on the turf. She ran an 86 Beyer. We'll see. I hope he runs well. I'm a fan of this horse. I put him third almost out of a sense of loyalty. He's probably a bad bet in here because he's probably going to be overbet based on the connections and his portfolio on dirt races. I think he was compromised up in Saratoga last time by a track that was very much hindering deep closures.
Yeah, he was going to have a tough time up there last time, and now he goes to a different surface. Like you said, nothing really on the bottom end, but the more than ready. And you know what? 7/8 might hit this horse right between the eyes. He's going to have to handle the surface, obviously, but this might be his distance.
Yeah, I think he's probably a bad gamble, short price. A horse is going to take
Well, what do you
money
think he's
in
going to
here.
be, Andy?
5-ish to 1.
Okay.
Easy time is the morning line favorite at 4 to 1. I don't think it's possible for me to like this horse less.
You know what? When I was doing this Wednesday and Thursday, I said the same thing.
This horse was
What do you
on
like
a
about this
racetrack
horse?
that was dramatically favoring inside runners. The horse that ran 5th should have won this race, got a hideous ride. Whereas the winner, who was coming from Europe, came up the gold rail, and this horse followed up the rail and was completely and totally dressed up by that rail performance. And the reality is, you look at the other turf races, they're not really within hunting distance. I don't trust this horse to run back to that number at all.
I don't like this horse for a diamond.
If this horse wins,
I'm with you.
I am going to lose. I wouldn't want to make a morning line here. This feels like a race to the morning line where if David does a reasonable job, which he probably will do better than, it's incredible achievement. You have got this horse, Kawaimia River, on top. We'll take a look at his maiden win. You can talk about him.
Yeah, I thought he ran really, really well first time on the turf, off of the bench from January to August, and
Why?
well, he did not have the cleanest trip. He had a little trouble on the turn.
He got blocked in the stretch, trying to go through inside. He didn't want to go through inside of horses, and that's what compromised him.
And last time, when he got his daylight, I think he showed what he can do. A 13-point improvement on the Beyer scale. He ran a race that, you got a couple of big figs in here from Kentucky Downs. The Easy Time race, the Rustler race, but that race he ran last time puts him right on the money in here. And if he shows more improvement, he's going to be really tough. And I think he's the kind of horse that he'll get lost in the shuffle a little bit.
Oh, he's not getting lost in the shuffle.
Well, there's some
he's not
stakes
getting lost in the
faces
shuffle.
here.
He's
There's
going to be
some
close to
stakes-
favorite in this race.
Wow, you think so, huh?
Yeah.
See, there's 10% of me that thinks.
I'll be shocked if he's 8
There's
to 1.
10% of me that does think he could go the other way. But I just feel like with all the stakes-faced horses in here and stakes winners, he'll get lost in the
But
shuffle.
look at the kind of race he ran last time out. John Terranova is 0 for 21 coming off a maiden win in turf races with 4 hitting the board. Now, in fairness to John, the vast majority of them were big-priced horses. So it's not like he dramatically underachieved. But his horses have not come back. Only 4 of them hit the board and run back those races. I don't disagree. He ran well last time. I don't disagree. I won't be shocked if he wins this race. I don't want to bet him to run back to that.
Okay.
I want to, but I'm not. You're not wrong. I mean, he ran well last time. I'm not going to disagree
You
with
can't
anything you said.
dismiss. You can't dismiss him, but there are enough horses in here that can win. Where, I thought your horse could win too, but there's only 4 spots.
Well, we'll get to him in a second. I was going to mention Wolfie's Dynaghost, who I think is very dangerous in here. I flip-flop between he and the 12, putting him on top. Wolfie's Dynaghost comes out of that Sifting Sands race. I think that was a good race, and I'll tell you something about him. He can be forward, and he is going to benefit. 7 furlongs, I think, is a perfect
Broke his
distance
maiden
for
on
this
dirt
horse.
going to 7/8. This might be fit him like a glove. You
I
might
think
be right.
he is a very, very big player here. As far as Snowhouse, he's not much of a dirt horse. He's okay. He's a turf horse. He has a gigantic turf page. The first foal from the dam, but the second dam is gigantic turf. It is a significant turf Juddmonte pedigree. And this horse's first race, they asked this horse to go a mile first time on the turf. And first of all, it was a tough field. I mean, the horse Hidden Enemy is a horse who lost that Bob to Ocala Dream.
Yep.
It's a legitimate field he was in, and this horse had some legitimate trouble in the stretch. And he could have been much, much closer in there. I think that's a race that bears watching, and I'm not saying he ran great, but it was his first start, going a mile, and he had trouble. He ran better than he did. They tried the dirt. It worked out fine. He ran okay in some stakes, but the reality is that I believe that this is the right surface for him. Draws what I think is a good outside
Advantageous post.
and
I
I
agree.
just think he's a very, very interesting horse in this race. And he worked out well in the turf. He worked out much better than the horse of Brad Cox's that finished 3rd in the Jockey Club Derby race that's running in tomorrow's Hill Prince. He buried that horse in the workout, and I think he's going to run very well.
It's funny you said you talked about him being an okay dirt horse. First time was turf. He was in an off-the-turf race when he broke his maiden. And I think it's just, the natural progression is, well, he won. Let's keep him on dirt. He won again. All right, let's go try to Dwyer.
Ran a big figure, surprising figure.
He did. And then off that Dwyer where he did a little running at the end, you figure you give him one more chance. And now all signs, if you look at his form, all signs kind of point to he got lost in the shuffle on the dirt, and they kind of had to follow the path, and now he's getting back to his range. I probably should have had him on the board here. He's a dangerous player. I agree
It's a
with
fun
you.
race. The Carl Place came up an interesting race. The last race was affected by scratches a little bit. I guess Hot Rod the 8 Hot Rod Rumble. See how the 3rd place finisher runs earlier in the day. I don't know where it came from based on his first 2 races, but this horse improved a lot last time. Must have been getting back to Belmont and Toby Sheets.
Yeah, took the money first time
Toby
out.
get all the credit for this?
Took money first time out and caught the mud. Then he ran back. Took less money, but still some money at 7.5 to 1. And then last time, like you said, God bless you. Where this race came from, I don't know.
But he ran it, and
It's double his fig. Double his best
I guess
fig.
as we go to the replay with our horse Bally Shade, I guess what we're hoping is that a horse that ran a figure not quite fast enough, but did it back in May and lost to a
4.5
heavily
months
favored
ago.
horse,
Yep.
supposed to improve. I guess the other question is, though, where the heck has he been?
Yeah, where has he been? That's the obvious question. But he
Something
gets a pair of
went
blinkers
wrong.
for the layoff, and he's been working steadily on at least the work tab looks like he's been working steadily for Rudy. He ran a winning race first time out. He just didn't win. And like you said, he ran a fig. He ran a fig 5 months ago that puts him right on the money now.
Yeah, I've got the 1 second. You've got him 3rd. Charlie Baker, first-time starter.
Yep.
Charlie raced the dam, very accomplished as well, and she actually was okay. I think her best figure was an 80. What about the Mark Cassie firster on the outside? Not a lot in the family, but a central banker. They paid an awful lot of money for this horse off a nice workout at the June sale.
Paid a lot of money for this horse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have the same four numbers.
Yeah,
there was
that
just
was
nothing too clever in here. I didn't think there was anything too clever anyway.
I
I guess if Vibe Setters is big a price,
maybe that's a bad sign.
yeah,
Is it a bad sign?
Maybe
If
it's-
Joe
yeah,
Rosario
I
and a
guess.
first-time star is a big price.
Yeah, I guess so.
There
I
were
guess
some
so.
scratches. I mean, give me the money coming out is going to hurt a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That horse is going to take money. All right. That does it. Anything else going on?
That's it, man.
All right.
Looking forward to the weekend.
I agree. Going to get a little colder, though. Today's the last warm day.
I know that affects you more than it affects me. But as
I sit outside for much longer.
as
up
I
here
get
than it
older,
affects-
as
it
I get
affects you.
as I get older.
You sit outside here for 3 hours in the cold. Tell me
I
how it
mean, I
affects-
do, but
You do?
I don't sit up here, but I sit outside.
This is the
when
coldest
I'm here, I
spot.
sit outside.
Yeah, but there's sitting outside in the back. It's 15 degrees warmer back, and you don't take the wind.
Yeah, I guess.
It is. It's
Do you want me to
bad.
sit down there with you tomorrow, and I'll sit right over there?
No, you won't.
Do you want me to?
You
I
can
would
do
show
it.
solidarity.
I don't want you to suffer just because I may have to. We may be inside tomorrow.
Suffer's a
We
strong
may be
word.
inside.
We are inside tomorrow.
Well, we are.
Oh, we are,
but
yeah.
We're not the show.
Suffer's a strong word, Andy.
Listen, we've had a tremendous run of weather. The
Yes, we
fact that
have.
it may get a little chilly at the end of October is not exactly. It's supposed to be.
Supposed to.
It's still going to be mid to high 50s.
It's
to
October
60. It's
22nd.
not exactly terrible weather. I mean, it's just getting a little
It's
chilly.
October 22nd,
Yeah.
and you haven't had a breakout
Right.
much.
Not
so.
even close. I mean,
Yeah.
we had the worst we had was a little chilly. No, I agree. We've been extremely fortunate with the
Yep.
weather and the rain as well. I
And
mean,
we blow so much hot air up here that we're always fine.
not enough. Anyhow, head over to Naira Bets if you're not a member of Naira Bets. Use the
Why aren't you?
promo code. That is a very
That's the
reasonable
better
question.
Forget about the promo code.
Why
Why,
are you not?
aren't you? Now the promo code.
Cup 25, we will match for $25 of your initial deposit plus a $200 match. So head on over to Naira Bets, become a member. $20 bonus. You bet 100 or more at Santa Anita as long as you opt in. Hear the dulcet tones of Frank Miramati. I haven't heard from Frank a lot lately.
I called him for his birthday this week. I
When
never
was his
heard back.
birthday?
It was Wednesday.
I got him the same gift he got me.
Only in a different color, right?
Exactly. Cox Plate, sometime this evening. Saratoga Derby winner is running in there. $10 back, bet $100 more on the card at Cox, big Cox Plate. I've never played Australia. You, of course, have.
Of course.
Not surprised. You must opt in. Contest, you have a little over 5 hours to sign up for that contest. Love the live money contest here. I really think they're the way to go. There's such a better contest format than the winning one where you can, this because horse racing is about betting. So picking winners is fine. Handicapping is important. But if you don't know how to bet, you have a better chance to be successful if you're a bad handicapper who knows how to bet well than if you're a great handicapper that has no idea how to bet. You have a better idea as the better. And I've seen it at play. $300 buy-in. Love those contests. Through Naira Bets. And finally, America's Day at the Races, 12:30 to 5:30. 10-race card today. Fun card.
Do we have a minute?
Yeah.
Got a fun I guess it's a fun Cox Plate story. Back in 2001.
This involves you winning, somebody cashing a bet. I don't want to. It's not a good story.
I was working for the New York Post at the time, and of course, tons of connections down in Australia.
Why didn't they ship you down there?
Hap, Bill Mott and Alan Paulson, because Hap was kind of a tweener. They weren't going to run in the mile. They weren't going to run in the mile and a half of the Breeders' Cup. They were going to go to the Cox Plate. And we talked about it. I was talking to Bill Mott about it, and I who have still never been on an airplane, was going to be sent down by the New York Post as part of a work exchange to go and cover Hap in the Cox Plate. And then, of course, the unfortunate events of 9/11 kind of killed all of the traveling, and he never went. But that was
That's a great story.
That was 20 years ago.
It's an incredible story.
Well, you don't get really any Americans going down there, and the fact that they were going to go down there and try it, I think, opened some people's eyes up.
Never
and
saw
stuff.
Americane win it. He won one of the Melbourne Cup or that. He had come here for Todd
I
Pletcher.
think he won the Melbourne Cup.
He'd come here for Todd Pletcher, and he really couldn't run. He ran the Sword Dancer. Might have been his first stars in the Sword Dancer. He really wasn't
Melbourne
very
Cup's
good.
2 miles.
And Todd had him. He went down and he won a huge race down there. It'd be a fun to go to. Melbourne Cup is like a huge day. It's a holiday
the
for our
race that
country.
the race that stops the nation.
Yep. No, I mean, Andy Beyer spent a lot of time down in Australia. He
Oh, yeah?
actually considered at one time moving there and going there. And
People who go down there fall in love with it.
Oh, they
Yeah.
love racing down there.
They love racing.
Who doesn't
down
love a place that loves racing? Anyhow, Johnny I up next with a reprise of the Scratch and Changes. Enjoy your day. A 10-race card here at Belmont Park.